My name is Eric Biddle. I've been living here in Finland for 16 years. Since I came here from Spain after I had a sabotaging of my life, uh, again by criminal elements in the Toronto police. It's called malicious sabotage of one's reputation. Uh, I'm not too worried about them anymore because I fully believe that God will deliver justice, probably vengeance, on the whole lot of them, almost 7,000 that are stuck together like a famous lawyer, Harry Capito, said. They are stuck together uh, like crazy glue with the legal system. But we're now in Finland. The year is 2008 in July, and I have the date on the back of this photograph of this doctor, Ilka. Soon after I arrived in Finland and was blessed, so to speak, by the Finnish police, I went in to get some routine medical help. And this was in a little town called Toijala. Now it's part of a larger area called Aka. Anyways, I was told by whoever that this Dr. Ilka, and I'll get his last name for you, was the man to go and see. So I made an effort to go and see him, and I didn't speak more than 4 words of Finnish. So I went into the what is called in Finnish terveysasema, healthcare station, and I asked one of the nurses if I could see a doctor. And she said, "Oh, well, the only one around is this fellow here at this door." And she said, "But be careful, because he does not speak any English or French or Spanish, only Finnish." Anyways, I went there and he knocked on his door. He came out and looked at me somewhat of a nasty look, and basically told me, indicated with his hands, and however, to go away. Anyways, I came back. It might have been the same day or the next day, July 2008, and I knocked on his door again. And this time, when he came out, I took his photo, which you can see here on this video. And you can see that he was quite surprised. And as it turns out, he was quite annoyed by this unexpected photo session. All I wanted was some simple medication I've taken a long time. And so he told a nurse or someone to wait for me to wait. I did, and then he handed me a one sheet of paper, all in Finnish, which I didn't have one clue as to what it said, and he indicated with his hand that I should go to some place, some town, a strange Finnish name, which I'd never heard of, and that was it. And so I drove in those days, 2008, quite a while ago, and I went from one little Finnish village to the next, away from Toila, and nobody could understand where this place was. So eventually I I ended up, I saw a small hospital. So I went in there in my car, and I asked, I parked and went in, and um, I asked one of the nurses if she could tell me where this was, and I showed her the letter from this doctor that was so unpleasant. I would say hostile. Anyways, she said, "Oh, you can just sit down and relax for a little while." I said, "Okay." I was tired of driving, and in about 5 minutes, two uniformed Finnish police officers showed up in what appeared to be like combat gear. Anyways, they said they grabbed me, and they weren't horribly brutal. They would never make it in Toronto. Uh, but anyways, and they drove me to some place that turned out to be a psychiatric hospital. All with my complete ignorance of what was going on. I don't have any psychiatric problems. Perhaps did I tell the truth in public too much? That's really dangerous these days. Even in Finland, they don't like the truth too much, and they're not going to be happy with this video. But anyways, I was taken in, admitted, I guess you call it, to this place, and I was there in total 6 weeks. And this was all in order to get some pain relief medicine. And I never even had spoken or seen by a doctor except this crazy man here. And what I'm trying to get to is that in Finland, more than any other country I've been in the world, doctors are above the law. They can do just about anything to anyone and never face the consequences of incompetence, malpractice, criminal negligence even. I think they would have to go out and shoot someone to have the police do something. And so while I was in this place, there was only one head psychiatrist, and he seemed to really have a special dislike for me, I guess being a foreigner, Canadian English, whatever. And I don't know what this Ilka doctor put in the letter, but he told the orderlies, the nurses, to inject me with neuroleptics. And they did. Not huge amounts, but enough to violate my rights. I had no idea what this was for, and I happen to know a lot about psychiatry, having been taught by experts in Canada and having served as an assistant when I was wrongfully imprisoned to the prison psychiatrist. And if you look at other documents, you will see that two prominent psychiatrists risk their careers and maybe their freedom to speak secretly to a Supreme Court judge that I was innocent. And for him, they said one said very assertively, you will find something to set Mr. Bill free. And well, that gives you an idea of my mental health, despite all the horrible things I endured. Anyways, I wasn't very happy. And then this one nurse, male fellow, thought he was going to dominate me. And I didn't care for that. I don't like anyone trying to dominate me or anyone else. So I was denied a lawyer. I was denied to get a second opinion, which seems to be a universal right in any kind of situation, whether you're a prisoner in a Finnish psychiatric hospital or a prison or anywhere else. Um, so that's how it was. And um, I I just had to live with it. And I must admit, the food was good. And there was a lake in the backyard, which they eventually gave me enough freedom to go and swim in the summertime. And finally, thanks to the intervention of a more kindly and objective social worker, a lady, I think she talked some sense into this God Almighty psychiatrist, or at least that's what Jung talked about, described people like him as having, is called God Almightiness. And they do in Finland. There's no way to deal with them in the courts, unless in a very rare case you can hit them with, there's a section in the code for torture, but it's almost impossible to get a conviction, according to my investigations. So eventually I got released, but I said, what the hell is going on here? Have these Finnish people been too long under the yoke, of the Russian totalitarian government, where people don't have any rights, and there's no uh, chance of help from a lawyer or getting a second medical opinion, but you are the captive and controlled by one perhaps halfway competent psychiatrist. But anyways, this is even worse than Canada, the way they use psychiatry there as a weapon to deal with dissidents. That's another thing if you read some of my books. But so eventually I got out. Oh, but before I got out, I was getting really annoyed with this male nurse, psychiatric nurse, I assume. So I did eventually get to speak to a lawyer. And I said to this fellow, this nurse is, I understand you can't do anything, that they are gods here in this place. And I said, but if you don't say something to someone about this nurse, he's going to end up with his throat ventilated with my index finger. And for someone like me who's worked internationally in matters that require survival skills, let's say, in dangerous countries well, that's enough said. You can read my book, Operation Ransack Conspiracy by Eric R. Biddle, if you want to know more. And so quickly, this nurse was gone because I think they caught on that I wasn't a pussycat. And anyways, now I want to go on from this. There was no way to get a complaint against this lunatic. Oh, and then I found out with this photo I have of him on this video, I was sitting on the train and had a bunch of photos with me, and there was a young policeman sitting close to me. And he saw the photo of this Ilka doctor, and he said, oh, it's him, he said. Yeah, I said, do you know him? And he said, yeah, he's a real problem to us in the police. He's a very severe alcoholic who disappears for maybe 6 or 7 days at a time, drunk as a skunk with his girlfriend. And we in the police have to go and hunt for him and drag him back to work. And I said, how can that be? That someone who is behaving so totally irresponsibly is allowed to practice medicine, let alone not be locked up in a mental hospital where he should be. But yet he can lock someone like me up. This is a highlight of the abuse that Finnish doctors get away with here in Finland, and it has to stop. I've talked to hundreds of Finnish people who are fed up with these doctors dominating everything, and there's no recourse. Uh, all kinds of people with back surgeries that are an absolute abomination, and others misprescribed medications. I could go on and on. I suffered myself in Espoo. There's a little health center called Tapiola. Had it not been for my medical knowledge, I would have been dead numerous times due to medical malpractice, uh, having me take, despite my objections, 3 kinds of hypertension medicines, causing me heart problems, atrial fibrillation or Flimmery in Finnish, and many hospital trips to emergency to reset my heart. Um, Another time was with pneumonia. These great intellectual doctors, even at Yorvi, they kept saying that the cause of the pneumonias was what's called the macro explanation, their gospel, holy gospel that cannot be questioned. Anyways, this is where little particles of food get into the lungs, the bronchia, and then the lungs instead of going to the stomach. And they cause lung infections of different kinds, not only pneumonia. This is the Holy Gospel that cannot be questioned here in Finland until I've come along. And after 5 times, I said, maybe you're not doing the right thing to cure me. And they said, oh, no, we're always right. We know what we're doing. So I got consultations with a very well-known German army doctor, and further with a woman specialist in problems breathing and swallowing and pneumonia problems in America. And I found out that really what the idiots doctors here, sorry, I don't have respect for them, except for a few. And they missed the whole cause of the pneumonia and the infections that were about to kill me. And that was that they had neglected my dental care, my health care, which they had promised 8 months before in Sipol to correct. And if you don't have good oral hygiene, in other words, regular medical dental care, what happens is that the viruses and bacteria and other wee beasts get into your lungs and cause pneumonia or other infections. I had to find this out and defy the elders of the Church of the Almighty Doctors here in Finland and save my own life. Now, there is hope. I have had pleasant discussions with some good doctors who are working in Jorvi. And they say, yes, Eric, we know you're correct. We have to be careful because the powers that be control our lives like we're children. But we know that you are correct. And I've wasted so much time with the Minister of Health, Kaisa Juuso, whose apparently her only qualification is being a psychiatric nurse. I've written endless letters explaining these things and simple things to reduce the horrible cost overruns in medical care. many, many, many millions of euros in less than a year because they do not even have what is used, the basic good practice is to have a medical director in hospitals and more or less the same thing in medical centers. In other words, someone who's the captain and he keeps the ship running smoothly and efficiently. And if there's deadwood and problems, he or she removes them. And this doesn't happen in Finland. And if the people of Finland know that, over 50% of Finnish people have no confidence in the Finnish medical system. I would say it's so bad now, especially with these young doctors starting to practice who don't understand anything unless it's on the computer, that should more come, we're dealing right now with a national security issue because without their gospels presented in the computer, and half the time the computers don't work, and there's two systems. One is for more up-to-date data on people. Well, even those are often full of omissions and errors, never to be corrected. They still had me down up until recently with having hypertension. So if I was in an accident and went to hospital, they would finish me off because they would give me medications for hypertension and cause my heart to stop, basically. This is just an indication, and I'm doing it rather quickly because I'm limited to 30 minutes. But I've had so many Finnish people and others, people who are from other countries who have come to me with their problems with Finnish healthcare. So I haven't run for election and I don't want to, but I believe that I have their support in speaking about the abominable situation in Finland where doctors can do all kinds of harm and get away with it. Not only are they not disciplined, there is no really significant compensation for their stupidity in surgeries. My back, for example, they butchered it. And I will have to try and live with this pain for the rest of my life because it's now in what's called an inoperable state, which means I have to get pain medicine 3 or 4 times a day, and every 3 or 4 hours get up and do exercises, which I've taken on myself to alleviate the excruciating pain in my back, lower back. And I know I'm not the only one. And I see time is running out, but I want to talk as well about another huge cover up in Finland. And that is also something I'm a victim of. I don't have this victim complex. I'm not the only one by any means. But it's what has happened to so many people in Finland who have been more or less coerced into taking these injections. They sometimes call them vaccinations. Well, they don't deserve that name. They're poisons made by Pfizer. Pfizer was almost exclusively in Finland. Everyone was supposed to take it. And there have been many people like me. I lost my balance. I have to sit in a wheelchair now. Well, that's another surgery, but I'll be up on a walker or rollatori, as they call it in Finnish. But it's only because of my faith in God, my exercises, and good diet. And others aren't so lucky as me. So I'm concerned about the little person too, people that don't have my education and my courage to speak up about this god-awful situation in the little Republic of Finland, where I was put by the British government to keep me safe from criminal elements in the Toronto police, hired by the former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney to silence me. So I seem to have come to the wrong country, because here, they're not trying to shoot you or poison you like they did me, or lock me up with a Hells Angels biker coming down off of God knows what, illegal drugs. No, they have doctors to destroy us. So I know personally one man, and I won't give your names, I'm very discreet that way. People that come to me know they can trust me to keep things silent. But I can put it all documented. Every single detail. My memory goes much better than your silly computers. The one that God gave us and our parents is much better than these ridiculous computers that all these young people are total believers in. Because I swear to God, the Russians are pretty soon going to cut totally our internet service. And when that happens, these young doctors will be in a state of panic and crisis. And patients won't get treated because these silly little doctors that can only read the internet don't know how to practice medicine. And I am supported in this by what my views by one very, very fine doctor, Emil Heinaaho. He knows the problems with these young doctors. And I also deal with a prosecutor called Tarmo Virtanen. I haven't had his affirmation of this, but he's younger. He has much to learn. Maybe he knows how to prosecute a bit, but there are laws that need to be changed. And I never get an answer from anyone in the Ministry of Health or anywhere else, because I think they have the idea that they are omniscient and omnipotent, that some foreigner like me doesn't know anything useful. That's their attitude. So, anyways, I hope that I wish I could do this same recording in Finnish and Swedish as well. And maybe I will get around to doing that. But for now, I will somehow get onto this video recording to show you the date of this photo of this doctor who did me damage, and God knows what else he did. And also the worst other offender is one Dr. Salo, who used to be called a orthopedic surgeon at Porvoo Hospital. He and his supervisor destroyed my back, according to the chief orthopedic specialist at Mehalainen Private Center. Did I get any compensation? No, only having to fight tooth and nail for pain medication with little bimbos fresh out of medical school who don't know the meaning of the term, doing a case history. I'm tired of teaching Finnish doctors how to practice medicine. I'm very tired of it and not even getting a thank you. Well, that's it. Thank you.